Welcome to today's story. Have you ever read a long list of names in the Bible and skipped ahead? You're not alone. Genealogies often feel like endless names with no meaning. But hidden deep within one of these ancient lists is a man, a mystery, and a prayer that would shake the heavens. This is not a fairy tale. This is not fiction. This is the real, mysterious, powerful story of Jabez, the man who interrupted a lineage and caught the attention of God. Why is Jabez mentioned at all? Why does God highlight his prayer? And most of all, what secret power lies in the 29 Hebrew words he dared to pray? Let's begin in the least expected place, a genealogy. In 1 Chronicles chapter 4, we find the lineage of Judah, name after name, generation after generation. For 8 full chapters, it's a blur of ancestors and descendants. It's easy to overlook, until suddenly, without warning, the pattern breaks, like a pause in a rhythm, like a spotlight in a dark room. 1 Chronicles 4:9 says, Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. His mother had named him Jabez, saying, I gave birth to him in pain. Wait, what? A story, a prayer, a man's character. Suddenly, amidst hundreds of names, we're invited into something personal. But why? Jabez doesn't appear before this. He's not mentioned again after this. No kingship, no miracles, no genealogy traced through him. And yet, God breaks the narrative just for him. Why? The Hebrew name Jabez means sorrow or pain. Imagine growing up with that name. Every time someone called him, it was a reminder, hey, pain. He was marked by pain from birth, but something in him refused to accept that as his destiny. We don't know his father's name, we don't know his tribe, but we know something that heaven noticed, his honor. Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. Honor in the Bible is not just about behavior, it's about integrity, faith, courage. Jabez wasn't content with living under the label of his pain. He chose to believe something different. Could it be that Jabez had suffered deeply, and yet chose not to let suffering define him? And then he prayed. Just one verse, but it carries the force of 1,000 sermons. Oh, that you would bless me indeed, and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. 1 Chronicles 4:10. Let's break it down. 1. Bless me indeed. This wasn't a greedy prayer, it was a desperate one. He was asking for God's favor, not for wealth, but for a redeemed future. This wasn't a casual ask. He says, bless me indeed. That word in Hebrew carries urgency, like he's grabbing hold of God's robe, saying, don't let go till you bless me. And he didn't define the blessing. He let God decide what blessing meant. That's faith. 2. Enlarge my territory. He wanted more than land. He wanted influence, impact, opportunity. I think Jabez wanted greater impact, more responsibility, a wider reach, not for ego, but for purpose. 3. That your hand would be with me. He recognized his dependence on God. He didn't want success without presence. He knew blessing without God is dangerous. 4. Keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain. He wanted a transformed legacy, a life no longer defined by his name, and God granted his request. No hesitation, no delay, just a holy yes. So what made Jabez's prayer so powerful? It was bold, it was faith-filled, it was humble, and it was aligned with God's heart. He wasn't asking for selfish gain. He was asking for a chance to live beyond his pain, to walk in purpose. Jabez did something rare. He asked greatly and believed deeply. You may feel forgotten, like a name buried in a list. You may carry pain from your past. But the story of Jabez proves one thing. You are not limited by your label. You are not defined by your beginning. You are not stuck in your circumstances. Jabez interrupted history with a prayer, and God stopped to listen. Will you dare to pray like Jabez? Not for comfort, but for calling. Not for more things, but for more purpose. Not to escape pain, but to be transformed by grace. If you've been blessed by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, what's your Jabez prayer? Until next time, keep seeking, keep praying, and never forget, God hears, God sees, and God still honors those who ask Him boldly.